For the first time ever, Monster Jam has come to South Africa. We have taken over Cape Town Stadium, the home of the 2010 FIFA World Cup. And tonight, the home of 8 Monster Jam superstars, all vying for the event championship. We've got all the excitement and more coming your way, including 4 insane competitions, a frenzy of great white sharks, and a capacity crowd ready for action. It's mayhem in the Mother City. This is Cape Town, South Africa, and this is Monster Jam. Welcome to Monster Jam. I'm your host, Scott Jordan, alongside Great Clips Mohawk Warrior driver Bryce Kenny and our pit reporter, Leslie Mears. And tonight we are coming to you from Cape Town, South Africa for the second of 3 incredible shows on the African continent. Last weekend in Durban, it was Barry Musauer's Zombie that took the overall event championship. And tonight, 8 superstars will vie for the Cape Town Event Championship. It's our first time here, Bryce. What are your thoughts coming into such a historic weekend?
Well, I think as a Monster Jam driver, anytime you go into a new city, there are a little few extra nerves or maybe a little bit more anxiety, let alone going to an entirely new continent where you have the opportunity to bring the sport of Monster Jam to a fan base that have never experienced the sport before. And so I think the butterflies are going to be flying just a little bit more in the drivers' bellies.
We are at the southernmost gateway to Africa. It is absolutely beautiful here. Monster Jam is known worldwide. That is why a capacity crowd has filled Cape Town Stadium. For more on this incredible event, let's send it down to our pit reporter, Leslie Mears.
Today, Monster Jam takes over one of the most iconic landmarks of South Africa, Cape Town Stadium. The drivers have taken in the wonder of Table Mountain, explored the views of Cape Town from Signal Hill, and saw the white sand beaches of Camps Bay, as well as the penguins at play on Robben Island. All these exciting adventures have fueled them to give you the unexpected, unpredictable action of Monster Jam for the first time here in South Africa.
Thank you, Leslie. Let's take a look at the field of trucks competing tonight. Zombie Max D, Gas Monkey Garage, and El Toro Loco are going to tangle up with 4 other incredible Monster Jam trucks: Monster Energy, Megalodon, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, and Gravedigger. For more on our first time in Africa, let's go to Just an incredible country on this brand new continent for us. We started in Durban, the land of the Zulu Nation. We will end in the city of gold, Johannesburg. Tonight it's all about the mother city, Cape Town, and we kick it off with Lindsey Wink for the first time ever. He is behind the wheel of Gas Monkey Garage.
Well, when you look at that freestyle criteria, that is what the fans should be judging on, the completion of the timed runs. These drivers have 120 seconds to fill on the clock, and the fans want to see all of those seconds be used wisely. And then the drivers also need to be getting around the track and using all of the jumps, all of the obstacles that are there. You need to add some sort of technical element. Can you kind of have the finesse side of your driving show? But ultimately, the fans are judging on that wow factor and what kind of wow moment a driver can create and pull out. Sometimes I think we've all been a little bit frustrated because the scoring kind of tends to weight more heavily on that wow factor than the other elements. But the best freestyle runs out there in the sport have all of those elements listed.
And Lindsey Wink has created quite a few wow moments in his incredible career. He's been around since 2000 when he made his debut in Jurassic Attack. Everybody knows him worldwide as the driver of Lucas Oil Crusader. Nice jump there for Lindsey Wink, but tonight he's filling in for BJ Johnson behind the wheel of Gas Monkey Garage. It is interesting to see him here in this ride, and another good jump for Lindsey Wink starting this freestyle run.
Well, I love the dirt so far. It looks really loose in the corners. It doesn't look like it's giving away. It just looks like it's almost really dusty. And what that's going to do as a driver is empower you to be able to get the truck turned around really quickly and get a lot of speed heading into those jumps. Now, also as a driver, though, we like to see in this type of a track condition, we like to see the ramps be a little bit steeper than normal because we do have the speed. So we can get a little bit higher air, more abrupt, awesome donut right there. Lindsey's taking advantage of a loose track. So far, this is an awesome freestyle run.
The donut competition happened earlier tonight, but Lindsey Wink putting a little extra something in this freestyle run, and this is the first ever freestyle run that most of these fans are seeing live, and there is no better driver to do that than Lindsey Wink in Gas Monkey Garage. Another jump off that freestyle ramp.
That's a great run overall, and Lindsey is a professional, and an 8.797, I think that's an awesome score to start out this competition with, and that's a really high bar. The only other thing he could have added was a backflip to make that a perfect freestyle run for these fans, but I don't think any of the fans are walking away empty-handed.
He competed this year on Stadium Championship Series 3, so he knows what it's like to go up against incredible competition night after night. Here comes Bari Musauer in Zombie Nation now, fully entrenched in South Africa. A lot of these fans seeing Bari for the first time now are huge fans of Zombie Nation.
I really like the way Bari typically starts out his freestyle runs. Usually it's with a lot of speed, and sometimes he just airs it out on the very first hit. But so far it's been very controlled as well. He's going to hit the jumps a little bit straighter in the first 60 seconds, probably than the last 60 seconds, so that he can feel out the truck and know that the shocks are working and cooperating the right way and doing what he wants them to do. And so far, the truck looks like it's landing really well.
And this is a huge stadium. The track has a lot of space out there for these drivers to maneuver. Bari competed this season on the Triple Threat Series West, so he's used to the arena shows. We know he can compete in stadiums, but when you look at all of that space and you have someone like Bari who has such a calculated style, how can you plan a freestyle run?
Well, that's a great point, and to his credit, just like you're saying, the fact that he can go from an arena-sized floor to a stadium-sized floor and still put on a monumental show. Bari does that better than anyone else in the sport. You can put him on any floor, on any dirt, and you know that you're going to be entertained. And so he's got a really good plan so far. He's getting around the track. He's hitting the majority of the obstacles, but we're still waiting on that wow factor to see what he's going to do next.
And he's turning it around. It looks like he might be lining up for the Monster Energy backflip ramp. He is going to move up and hit the brakes. Something is going wrong for Bari Musauer in Zombie, and he is locked up.
Well, that is 100% the correct decision. Those rear tires were not coming back to center as he was approaching that backflip ramp. And as a Monster Jam driver, if you are going to get one of these 12,000-pound machines to rotate, you have to feel completely comfortable in the truck. And he felt that something wasn't quite right. Unfortunately, I think it caused his score to suffer to kind of get the fans' expectations high and then have to bail on it last minute, but that was absolutely the right call from Bari.
Bari won the first event championship last weekend in Durban. That was the kickoff to this South African tour, but a disappointing end to his freestyle run in Cape Town. A backflip would have made these fans erupt. We have more Monster Jam action coming up from Cape Town. This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. It's not just a better deal, it's America's best. Welcome back to Cape Town Stadium in beautiful Cape Town, South Africa. It's the second stop of this three-city South African tour, our first time ever on the African continent, bringing Monster Jam to these amazing fans. And not only is it the first Monster Jam show they will experience, it was also the very first pit party they were able to attend.
This is Monster Jam!
The capacity crowd at the pit party, Bryce, we know all about how special these Monster Jam pit parties are.
Well, my favorite question to ask during a Monster Jam pit party to all of the fans are, man, now what do you think about this Monster Jam truck up close? What was your first thought? And seeing the faces on not just the kids, but the parents, all of the adults as well, everybody is blown away. And so the idea and the fact that all of these Monster Jam fans have never been beside one of these 66-inch tall BKT tires before in their lives. All they've seen maybe are some on TV. It's just such a special moment to see those eyes get really big from all those Monster Jam fans and knowing that we're creating limitless memories for these families.
I was able to experience one of these international pit parties in Cardiff, Wales. It was so exciting. Speaking of our fans, we caught up with a young fan who had some questions for Candace Jolly.
How did you ever got to the idea of becoming a Monster Jam truck driver? Well, I actually started racing when I was 8. I ran go-karts, Formula V, Sports 2000, limited late models. I was at a show, started talking to the bosses, showed my portfolio, and they flew me to the Gravedigger shop for an audition, gave me a job. Now I've been here 13 years, 23 different countries, and 6 continents.
Wow, that's a lot. Did you ever dream you could do that when you were smaller?
I knew that when I was a little girl that I wanted to race, and I would race all over the world, and now getting to come to South Africa, I feel like it's come full circle. My job is finally at the point that I thought it would be, where I'd be racing all over the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some great questions there from Anna and Candace Jolly. Now going to step out on the track here in Monster Mutt Dalmatian, and she is ready for freestyle. A lot of experience, Bryce, on these international shows for Candace Jolly.
Well, she is one of the best at going anywhere in the world and having a very consistent freestyle. You know, I had the chance to run with her all year this year, and I really enjoy watching Candace's style because she's very controlled in her freestyle, but that doesn't mean they're not chaotic. In fact, she is always somebody that tends to find one of the jumps or one of the faces of a ramp and gets something out of it that the rest of us drivers just didn't see. We missed as we did our track walk earlier. She tends to get a little bit more air, and she tends to kind of pull out a wow moment that makes the fans go crazy. It is so difficult for any of the Monster Jam fans to not cheer for Candace because of that momentum that she gives in the corners, and really just overall that effort saying, hey boys, the girls are here and we're ready to rock the house.
And a great jump there for Candace Jolly in Monster Mutt Dalmatian. She and Becky McDonough, El Toro Loco, are both here. I call them two of the pioneers of this woman's evolution in Monster Jam. If you go back to Medusa as well, the women are starting to take over the sport and compete at the same level on these same tracks. We talk about it all the time, how powerful these women are in Monster Jam.
Well, she's hitting most of these faces pretty straight on. She's pretty controlled in this first 60 seconds, and I would expect that from her. And she comes over here and she's lining up for this face. Now, she hit that same face in the two-wheel skill competition and had that same result. My only guess is after she had that result in the two-wheel skill challenge, it probably made her mad enough, and she said, hey, I'm going to hit that again in freestyle, and I'm going to get it. Unfortunately, I think the ramp, that face probably got the best of her tonight.
And she was able to clear that step-up ramp, and she's coming back around again. A nice drift turn on the far side of the track, and she cross-threads that jump a little bit, gets it back on the 4 tires, and she is in the middle of a very nice freestyle run.
I love her combination. She'll go and get pretty big air and then go right into more of a finesse move after that. She understands that you've got to change things up. That's why Candace is one of the best in the sport. And like I said earlier, she tends to find areas and different jumps that others don't find. And she did a great job there. An 8.461. I think that's a pretty good score, maybe appropriate. I probably would have liked to see it a little bit higher.
And Candace Jolly taking it to the track now. Leslie Mears was able to catch up with Candace.
You know, this track has been really hard to judge all night. The track just kept getting looser and looser. So I knew what I wanted to go out there and do, and felt like I executed it pretty good. You know, I wanted the backside of the FMX hill, come down, land perfectly on the downstroke, and that's exactly what we did.
Spends a lot of her downtime with the Showtime Riding Academy and Rescue in Naples that she founded. We have America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Racing Recap up next. The beautiful sanctuary of Table Bay, just one of the amazing sights to see here in Cape Town. There's Table Mountain, and the incredible response we've gotten from the fans has been so great that have watched this on television, have seen it all around the world, now here in South Africa. This is the America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Racing Recap, and we're going to take it to round 1. Colton Eichelberger and Max D against Barry Musauer in Zombie.
Well, you saw in some of the freestyle runs so far on how slick the track has been, and it's clear and evident that in racing it impacted both of those drivers really quite a bit. And so Barry, obviously in the right lane, it looks like maybe that right lane is either much slicker than the left lane, or Colton is just doing a much better job of controlling that. And it wouldn't surprise me if it did come down to Colton being the one that was able to go into that turn with a little bit more control, but he was dominant all night long in that left lane.
Moved on to the semifinals against Lindsey Wink in Gas Monkey Garage. One thing to watch with Colton Eichelberger is how tight he was able to take the turns all night long.
Well, that right lane, the very first turn was pushing every driver really, really deep. And the other thing that's very frustrating as a driver is is trying to get the rear tires to straighten back out when the track is too slick. That's one of the most difficult things to do, but obviously Colton going into the finals here against Chad Tingler. Chad's been doing this a long time, and I knew if there was anyone that was going to give Colton a run for his money in the finals, it'd be Chad.
He was able to get lane choice, stayed in that left lane, again taking the turns, but Chad giving him a run for his money in this final matchup. And look at the difference right there, that final turn. It was Colton Eichelberger in Max D who took it very tight to that tire, and it was Chad Tingler that went around in that drift turn. So your racing winner earlier was Colton Eichelberger in Max D. An amazing run to the racing championship.
Well, all 3 rounds, Colton Eichelberger was very controlled in the turns. He nailed them on a particularly slick track. And remember, Colton Eichelberger has been in arenas all year long, so to be able to come over to stadiums here in South Africa and be this dominant, it's a testament to him.
And lane choice so important. He kept putting the fastest times of the night for each round, so he was able to get that lane choice and stick with the left lane. Now celebrating outside of the track. What a great sight that was earlier as Colton Eichelberger in Max D won the first racing championship in Cape Town, South Africa. Here are your racing points standings after this event. 8 points going to Colton in pursuit of that overall event championship. Chad Tingler was 6th, and Lindsay and Charlie each with 4, and the final 4 competitors will each grab 2 points trying to catch that overall event championship trophy. After his big racing win, Leslie Mears was able to catch up with our racing winner, Colton Eichelberger in Max D.
What was so special tonight about the left lane that made you choose it?
You know what? I had that left lane all night. You know what? Chad Tingler had that right lane all night. I could have threw him in the opposite lane, but at the same time, I was risking that opposite lane for myself. So you know what? I was fast in the left lane. I felt comfortable. I stayed right with it.
Well, yeah, we saw a little bobble there in the final turn, and it was like you were giving him a chance to catch up. What was going on as you were kind of sliding, because the track seemed awfully slick tonight?
You know what? I could tell that I had the lead coming in that final turn, Leslie. So you know what? After that, it just meant not hitting the boxes, staying tight, getting across that finish line. I love sailing it. That racing track's fast right here. What'd you guys think of that, South Africa?
So the dirt that we have here in Cape Town, it's real sandy, so it kind of fits my driving style, that aggressive style. I get to kind of hang it out a little bit loose because the turns are just a little bit less tacky. So it's really fast. Kind of reminds me of Las Vegas. It's that same kind of dirt. I think we'll see some blue groove tonight, but who knows, it might let loose. You know, it's a mystery to us, but we're gonna find out.
A very confident Steven Sims and Monster Energy coming in, Bryce. The first time we've seen him this year on this program, and the first time we've heard the mention of Blue Groove.
Well, essentially what happens is when the dirt almost begins to act like concrete in a way after a lot of trucks have run over a particular part. A lot of times it happens in turns and racing, but you actually can see tire treads on top of that dirt. Now, I think Steven Sims is right when it comes down to how this dirt is, it's dusty, but so far it's been breaking away enough to where we haven't seen any blue grooves so far. But the way that he's driving in these corners just with a ton of speed, if there's anyone that's going to cause it to blue groove, it's going to be Steven Sims.
Steven Sims, the son of Stone Crusher driver Steve Sims out of Virginia Beach, talked about that aggressive driving style, and he is going to send it again across that jump. A nice series of jumps for Monster Energy.
Well, he's getting across the track. Oh, right there, he bumped the backflip ramp. Hopefully that didn't damage anything in the back right. You don't want to lock up a planetary or hurt an axle halfway through your freestyle with that, but so far it looks like the truck is healthy. I love the fact that he's starting to cross-thread a lot of these jumps. He's finding some areas that none of the other drivers have found yet. He's getting air that some of the other drivers haven't gotten either.
And you see that a lot out of Steven Sims as he goes off the side of that ramp and gets it down a nice landing. We talk about a lot with the drivers squaring up to these jumps. Steven Sims doesn't like to square up a lot of these ramps. He will come off either side to try to make something happen. He gets that one right off that side and lands it perfectly. So a nice jump for Monster Energy.
Well, this is complete chaos out here. I mean, he's on the edge of being out of control, and that's exactly what these Cape Town fans want to see. I don't feel like he's lifted this entire freestyle run. He's getting the truck upset enough to where he can maybe find that wow factor, see what the track and the truck's going to give him.
Able to put a cyclone in there towards the end, and he is lining up for the Monster Energy backflip ramp, the first attempt of the night. and he skies it and lands it. So he gets across it, a beautiful backflip for Steven Sims.
It kind of twisted on him there for a second, but he collected it perfectly. Huge jump off of that step up. I cannot believe this Monster Energy truck is as healthy as it is. It looks like he could go for another 120 seconds if he wanted.
And he's got it smoking. He is running it into the ground. This is the ragged edge that you talk about so much. He is driving Monster Energy until it won't go anymore. What a run for Steven Sims and Monster Energy.
Well, that energy is very, very hot. You see a lot of the smoke, probably from the radiator starting to spill over a little bit of coolant as well. That motor might be at 240 degrees, but Steven Sims right there does not care, and he shouldn't, because he laid down an incredible freestyle run.
Let's take a look at some of these highlights for him. There is one of the jumps he put together. There he goes coming off the side of that ramp. He did that so much in his freestyle run. For more, let's go to the science of Monster Jam.
This is the science of Monster Jam, fueled by Monster Energy.
Transporting Monster Jam trucks is actually easier than you think, but it takes a lot of planning and logistics and forethought to make it happen. Each truck is placed in its own sea container. And so inside each container, you've got the 4 BKT tires and 1 spare. Then in the back, you can see you've got all the extra parts that you would normally need during competition. 4 extra shocks, 2 for the front, 2 for the back. This particular trailer has a hub-to-hub assembly for easy installation if there's some kind of breakage. It has an extra transmission and an extra third member. Also in the loft, we've got 2 spare bodies for each vehicle. So they've got everything they need in 1 sea container for competition. Since each Monster Jam truck arrives in its own sea container, it's got the big parts that might break, but we've also got this international parts container that contains all of the wrenches and tools and parts that would normally be in the road hauler at each event, but since they come in a sea container, we can't have that here. And so we're talking about machines and parts for everything from solenoids all the way over to our rear steer motors. We've also got alternators and starters, brake lines, which you had a brake line damaged in Durban, 15-foot lines for the back, 13-foot lines for the front. Now there's also 4-link bars, 2 spare engines, many third members in here. And not to leave out the small details, we've also got a plethora of nuts and bolts to fix anything that could go wrong.
To get here, Monster Jam trucks journeyed on ships around the treacherous Cape of Good Hope on the tip of Africa. We are not done. So much more coming from Cape Town.
This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by Great Clips. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by Spin Master Toys. Real trucks, real action, Monster Jam. Welcome back to beautiful Cape Town, South Africa. Scott Jordan, Bryce Kenny calling the Monster Jam action, the second of 3 historic events in South Africa for the first time ever. And earlier tonight, it was the Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge, and Steven Sims an underwhelming 8th place finish.
Well, it's so frustrating as a driver knowing that you're going to go out there for the 2-Wheel Skills Challenge on a very slick track, because you just cannot get any of the tires to bite enough to do these crazy tricks that we're all trying to do and really pushing these trucks to do. Charlie, trying to kind of get something out of nothing out of that Gravedigger truck there, and I know the fans were really entertained for it, but still, as a driver, you're going to be very frustrated that you can't do what you know you're capable of.
Yeah, just trying for an amazing save there. Candace Jolly, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, tried again that same spot for the sky wheelie there. She could not quite get what she wanted, and then trying for the popper. We saw a lot of failed attempts in this, and we don't usually see that when it comes to this competition.
Well, and I just think the dirt is just too loose. That top layer is breaking away, so you cannot get the bite. But Barry Musauer has been doing this a long time, a seasoned veteran. He probably saw the trucks before him and said, hey, let's go get a sky wheelie out of this situation. Becky McDonough, same thing. Really great sky wheelie, almost clears the entire pad and gets it on the sidewalls for a really cool wow moment.
So a nice save gets her that 9.042, but it was Colton Eichelberger that was able to land his hit. Look at that beautiful nose wheelie, just able to ease it across that track. That is what wins this competition, and that's exactly what he was able to do.
Well, in true Max D fashion, he has perfect control. He keeps it up on the nose. I mean, he could probably take a nap in that truck at this point, but a 9.849, obviously these Monster Jam fans were loving that nose wheelie.
Just an incredible score for him, so it was a great start to the night for Colton Eichelberger. He also won racing, and he is just in the zone in Cape Town, and the fans are letting him know, and he is letting the fans know, hey, this is what we do, this is what we came here, watch and learn, and this is Colton Eichelberger dominating the competition. 8 more points in pursuit of the overall event championship for Max D. Becky McDonough gets 7, barring Moose Sauer, Candice Jolly, your top 4, then rounding out the 8 competitors, Puck and Tingler, Wink and Sims. After his great win, Leslie was able to catch up with her Great Clips 2-wheel skills winner, Colton Eichelberger, Max D.
So Colton, as we come up here and we pick up this 2-wheel skill tonight, your second victory of the night. The conditions out here, the dirt's a little dry and mealy. How were you able to get such great grip on that 2-wheel skill attempt?
You know what, it's been in the marinas all year. My first attempt on that backwards wheelie didn't quite go as planned. That fueled me right there to keep going. I knew I had to get a nose wheelie going for you guys. You guys love the nose wheelie. This track right here, you gotta learn each and every weekend that the track is different. The dirt is different. You gotta read it. I knew I was gonna have to throw it into that hill a little harder. We did that and it worked. What'd you guys think of that nose wheelie? You like that?
Who's ready for America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses Look-In?
What's up, guys? I'm Colton Eichelberger, driver of the Max D Monster Jam truck.
And I'm Becky McDonough with Toro Loco.
Today we get to do a little cage diving with the sharks. You know what that involves? That involves Megalodon. Megalodon's never intimidated me on the track. I don't know about you, Becky. Has he ever intimidated you?
No.
No, not at all. I'm actually really excited to go do this today. We're in South Africa. What better place to do it? 15 minutes off the coast. Ready to see some sharks.
All right then, here we go.
It was super awesome, especially that last shark that we saw. He came up right there. They let him all the way up to the cage, and he bit it. And by the time I noticed where he was, his jaw was literally wrapped around the cage. So it was pretty awesome.
What an experience for Colton Eichelberger and Becky McDonough. Bryce, I've seen a lot of shark movies. Is that something you'd ever want to do, is get down in the ocean in that shark cage?
Well, you know I would have to do that if I had the opportunity, but I'm definitely more of a stay on the shore guy or stay in the safe confines of the boat kind of guy, I guess. But these opportunities that the Monster Jam drivers have, anytime that we get to go internationally, that's what's really special for us. It's an incredible job to have to just drive for Monster Jam, let alone go and do some of these once-in-a-lifetime things.
A daunting score to beat, 9.860 from Steven Sims and Monster Energy. Becky McDonough, such a talented driver. I love watching her in freestyle in El Toro Loco. She spent the season competing on Stadium Championship Series 3 and was able to put together a lot of great freestyle runs. So Becky McDonough trying to make it happen in El Toro Loco, spinning it back around to the other side of the track. And there's a little sky wheelie for El Toro Loco.
Well, you can always tell how comfortable Becky is in that El Toro Loco truck after about the first 15 to 20 seconds of her freestyle run. If the shocks feel good, she usually turns up the heat quite a bit after that. And so far, I've seen a pretty good controlled run from her. I've seen some pretty decent air so far as well, but like most of the drivers that have figured out you can get a lot of momentum coming out of these corners, she's whipping that El Toro Loco truck around and heading to the next jump.
And off the step up for El Toro Loco, Becky McDonough spinning the crazy bull around the track here in Cape Town. Again on that ramp, she clears it, gets down nicely. So a nice series of moves for Becky McDonough. A high score from Monster Energy is on the table and is looming and coming off the side of that jump. So Becky McDonough just goes across the side and lands it.
Well, she hit that backflip ramp right there again, just like Steven Sims did. Hopefully it didn't hurt anything on the truck. It looks perfect though, but you can tell she's starting to get that much more comfortable. She's cross-threading these jumps. She's ready to get the truck a little bit more upset because she's still hunting that wow moment for the fans.
And that's one thing she's developing now through her run is that cross-threading. She was hitting them square. Now she realizes it is better and more exciting when she gets to the side of it, but no one can seem to get out of the way of that Monster Energy backflip ramp. Here she comes again, cross-threading, trying to eat up every inch of this freestyle track, and another nice jump for El Toro Loco.
Well, this has been a really good run so far, and she's ending it the right way as well, with a ton of good air, but to end that with a little bit of smoke coming out of that El Toro Loco nose, a 7.629, I think that might be a tad bit low.
I will agree with you on that. She had some great jumps, and just one right there off of that step up got the smoke involved as well. Everyone loves the crazy bull, and Becky McDonough showing everybody what she's all about. Let's take a look at the BKT Freestyle Top 5. Monster Energy at 9.860. The amazing backflip for Steven Sims. Right now it's time for the original Superglue Corporation Pit Report.
So Carlos De La Cruz, the crew chief here for Gravedigger, take us through what you guys fixed when Charlie came back here into the pits after racing.
Well, apparently we had an issue with the steering pump went off, so we changed it, we put a new one, and I believe we're ready to go.
Yeah, pretty quick process. About how long did it take you and the guys to get the new pump back on and all the hydraulic fluid back in?
No more than 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes.
Thank you, Leslie. A great look behind the scenes of some of the hardworking technicians here in Monster Jam. Up next is more freestyle and the donut competition recap from Cape Town. The fans are excited here at Cape Town Stadium. It is Monster Jam, and we've had some amazing competition so far, but let's take a look at earlier today with the donut competition.
Well, this dirt is perfect to get some really fast cyclone donuts going. You always want to start kind of in first gear, get the truck moving, and then as soon as you feel that truck sit in one location, you want to shift to second gear and really just let it go at that point. Get all of the spins you can, all the rotations. That's what the fans love to see.
Now, this is a competition we generally have in our arena shows and the Triple Threat Series, but on the international tours, we like to bring it out to give a little extra something to the fans. And once again, it was Colton Eichelberger in Max D with an incredible score. Look at the donut to the Cyclone Revolution for him. Ended up on the roof, but it didn't matter because he was able to take yet another victory. 8 more points going the way of Colton Eichelberger in Max D. Charlie Pauken, Bari Musauer, Steven Sims round out your top 4. And there's a look at the rest of the competitors. Let's hear once again from Colton Eichelberger in Max D.
So amazing out there, Colton, as you pick up the lid. So you got a little sideways. We thought you were going to give her the onion out there up on 2 wheels, but you couldn't. So how hard did you kind of crash there on that sidewall?
You know what? Everybody's going out there doing killer donuts. And Max D's known for cyclones. I rode a little bit on 2 wheels, but you know what? The rest of it was just history.
Yeah, so I went out with Charlie Pauken. We hit the city on a sightseeing tour just to check out some of the notable spots here, and we had a blast, you know. And then after that, we actually got to do a zip line tour, which I never in a million years thought I'd be zip lining in South Africa. But man, we had so much fun. We zip lined around this tour, 11 zip lines, and I mean, you're going fast on these things. Zip lining off a cliff that you have no idea how far down solid land is pretty intense. And our tour guides were amazing, and they just made it look simple, like it was an enjoyable thing. Meanwhile, me and Chucky, we were a little nervous, but as time goes on, you do it more and more, you get kind of used to it.
Oh my gosh, the experience of zip lining, you know, even I'm, you know, the adrenaline junkie, even I was scared doing that. Basically hanging on for my life, you know, boy, what an experience, what a beautiful countryside, just amazing.
Another amazing event that our drivers were able to take part in. The people here in South Africa have been so warm and receptive to us. Just an incredible experience for everybody involved.
Well, it looks like really early here, I'm seeing Charlie in the cab there. He's shifting. He might have just lost second gear, unfortunately. That would be devastating for him. And this is somebody that's had a lot of frustrating mechanical issues this season and probably hasn't been able to go out there and just air out that Gravedigger truck like all of us are so used to seeing. He's obviously making something out of nothing, and Charlie's been doing this long enough that that's exactly what he can do. even if the truck is injured, if it's not performing the way that we need it to perform, somebody like Charlie is able to go out there and make the best out of a bad situation.
Been around since 1998 with Monster Jam, and there is a nice sidewall jump. You mentioned making something out of nothing, and he's going a little slower around the track, but a sky jump for Charlie Pauken. So even if he's having mechanical issues, he is still able to get something done, trying to go up in reverse.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just not cooperating with him, and he's trying to find that wow moment. And with first gear on a track like this, it looks like the transmission just went ahead and quit altogether on him, unfortunately. But with a track like this, with only having first gear, there's not a whole lot you can do.
An early end to his freestyle run, but he was still able to get some of those jumps, even climbing up the side of the ramps, and a sky jump for Charlie Pauken. He is going to end up with the 5th best score. That's 7.458 for Charlie Pauken in Gravedigger. Next up, it is Chad Tingler in Megalodon. Our first look at Chad Tingler in 2019.
Well, you can learn a lot about how to drive a Monster Jam truck by watching Chad Tingler, and he's somebody that always is very consistent, and he's also someone that understands how to keep the truck healthy for 120 seconds for the most part. And I really enjoy watching his momentum that he builds. I mean, right there you can tell he's not lifting in that corner. I love to watch him pitch the truck into a corner because he's very controlled with the rear steer, but watch him counter steer the front as well in order to line up and hit ramp straight. And for the first 60 seconds, if you're going to start off and get a good start to your freestyle run and hopefully fill the truck, that's what you want to do.
Megalodon, a huge fan favorite all throughout Monster Jam, all over the world, and another nice jump for Chad Tingler, and he is showing what he's been made of over the last 15 years. Here's a guy that started in this business crewing for Randy Brown, developed into a Gravedigger driver, and now on these international tours, he is behind the wheel of Megalodon, and there is a wheelie, so he goes for the jump, and then a slap wheelie. Nice move for Chad Tingler.
I really like how creative his hits have been so far. He's hitting all of the different ramps out there, all of the different faces already in just 60 seconds. And as a driver, not only does that kind of build up your confidence, but it lets you hang it all out on the line for the last 60 seconds. Watching him drift that truck around in that corner lineup for this step up, man, that is a pro move.
We know about different styles of driving. You have meticulous, calculated, aggressive. Right now, it just looks like Chad Tingler is simply driving, putting his pedal to the metal, and making something happen off of each and every one of these obstacles, hitting each ramp, drifting around the turn, and even something so small as a little stopper ramp, he is able to make look so good and so neat as he drives that Megalodon truck throughout.
I also think the track's starting to go away completely. I mean, at this point, you see how much dust that he's throwing. If you realize that if that's what the floor is doing, the face of the ramps are probably starting to go away as well. And so you're going to have to work a little bit harder to get that big air, and that's what's going on here with Chad's run so far.
And he is beating that Megalodon truck up something fierce as he continues to fly through this freestyle run. He gets a little bit of trouble trying to get over that ramp, and he is starting to slow down. That may end the run for Chad Tingler and Megalodon, but we saw some amazing things from him.
That was way too low of a score, 7.198. I understand it was missing a backflip or something like that the fans really want to see, but that run deserved a much higher score than that.
Absolutely right. Chad Tingler has nothing left to prove after 15 years, but I was very impressed with his freestyle run here in Megalodon. Your leader continues to be Steven Sims in Monster Energy. We are not done yet. Colton Eichelberger in Max D still to come from Cape Town.
This portion of Monster Jam is brought to you by America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. It's not just a better deal, it's America's best.
Welcome back to Monster Jam from Cape Town, South Africa. Scott Jordan and Bryce Kenny calling all the action for you. We've had an amazing weekend and an incredible night of events. More still to come. It has been the Colton Eichelberger in Max D show. He has won everything, and he has yet to run in freestyle. Monster Energy Steven Sims with the run of the night and the score to beat that 9.860. So the question remains, can Colton Eichelberger in Max D win it all, get the clean sweep? He's got his work cut out for him. Let's go to Inside Monster Jam with Max D driver and our current points leader, Colton Eichelberger.
You know, the fans here in South Africa, they've never seen a show live before. They've seen it on TV, they've seen it on YouTube. So you know what, for me, I just got to come out here and live up to the Max D name. Everybody knows that Max D goes big, we tear the truck up, and we leave with the crowd on their feet. So you know what, that was my #1 goal coming to South Africa, is get that crowd up on their feet.
Not only does he have to live up to the Max D name, he also has to live up to his dad's name. His father, of course, legendary driver Tom Meents, the professor of Monster Jam University. Here comes Colton Eichelberger in Max D, sends it off that first jump. He does an amazing job of getting the crowd up on their feet and giving them what they want.
Well, again, he's been in arenas all year long, but that never seems to faze him. He can be on any size floor and do a remarkable job, and he just understands how to control these Monster Jam machines. 12,000 pounds, 1,500 horsepower, and sometimes Colton Eichelberger looks like he's been doing it as long as Tom Meents has been doing. I see a lot of world championships in this guy's future. Right there, kind of bumps. Everyone seems to be bumping that backflip ramp. I don't know if the floor is a little bit shorter than most, or it could just be, again, the dirt is that slick, so it's pushing them more in the corners.
He has been an absolute star on the Triple Threat Series for most of his Monster Jam career, but when he's given the opportunity to get on these stadium shows and get in the stadium tracks, he has been able to win. He is more than capable of it, and he's going to back up for the Monster Energy backflip ramp. Here comes Max D off the ramp in midair, stops it and rolls it. Going to try to save and cannot come up with it. So on the roof of Max D, Colton Eichelberger, that failed backflip attempt.
Man, that was a very weird twist for him mid-air with that, but I don't think he was planning on hitting the backflip that early. But as a driver, you have to make split-second decisions, and that corner pushed him so deep, he was lined up for it. And I think in true Max D fashion, he said, hey, I'm going to hit what's in front of him. It looks like he might have caught that left tire on one of the dumpsters on the side. That might have been what ended up twisting him on his roof.
Looks like he was able to defy gravity on the backflip ramp, couldn't land it, and finishes in third, unable to sweep the event. Steven Sims, Monster Energy, is your freestyle winner, getting 8 points. We'll take you all the way down the standings to Bari Musauer in Zombie. That 6.912 gets him in last. Let's send it down to Leslie Mears with our freestyle winner, Steven Sims in Monster Energy.
Well, Steven Sims, you said tonight that the track was very accustomed to your reckless style of driving. Did you feel like you were back at the beach tonight?
Oh my gosh, I felt right at home. You know, it was amazing. Arguably probably the best freestyle run I've ever had here in Cape Town for the first time. It was amazing. You fans were so loud. We could hear you every second. The night didn't start out how I wanted. I knew you guys wanted more out of me and more out of Monster Energy. Me and my crew chief, we put a plan together, and it all went perfect. We got to kill it for you guys.
An unbelievable freestyle run for Steven Sims in Monster Energy, but not enough to catch our event champion. Colton Eichelberger, Max D, wins 3 competitions, gets 30 points, and he takes over the overall event championship.
Well, these Cape Town Monster Jam fans are going to leave with plenty of memories, and that's what Monster Jam is all about, and these drivers delivered all night long.
4 incredible competitions, 1 winner. Let's send it back down to Leslie with her overall event champion.
Well, 3 victories tonight, a solid freestyle out there for Max D, and you and your crew chief, Nick Mole, take home the overall event championship for the very first time here in Cape Town.
Absolutely. You know what? We wouldn't ask for nothing more than this. I got the hardest working crew guy in the business. I thank them. But most of all, I want to thank you fans. This is the first time we've had a show here in Cape Town. Does anybody like the Monster Jam?
What an incredible weekend here in Cape Town, South Africa. Even before we got to the action inside the stadium, we went from Table Bay to Table Mountain, dove with great white sharks. Just an amazing experience for everyone involved. And then we got to the action on the track, where Colton Eichelberger and Max D won just about everything en route to the overall event championship. However, you cannot take away from the amazing freestyle run of Steven Sims and Monster Energy.
Well, I think Colton Eichelberger definitely made a ton of Max D fans here in Cape Town tonight with that dominant performance. But I think Steven Sims and Monster Energy, that freestyle run was one of the best freestyle runs I've ever seen. I think it's the new definition of controlled chaos.
It is the highest freestyle score recorded in 2019 so far. The South African Tour concludes in Johannesburg. For information and results, you can go to monsterjam.com. Find us on social media at Monster Jam. For Bryce Kenny and Leslie Mears, I'm Scott Jordan. Thank you for watching. Good night from the Mother City. This has been Cape Town, and this is Monster Jam.